Never raised his voice to me. He's never called me any names. He listens to me. How he feels about me, he does it in actions. He makes me a cup of tea. He makes me breakfast in bed. When I was feeling unwell, he was like, "Do you want anything?"
That's lovely.
She's already defending him.
Amy and Luke, what do I think? I don't know. I don't know how to predict that. It's just I was a bit taken aback when Amy said she really is concerned about looks and she wants someone who's good looking, and it's like, it's not a supermarket, love. If you couldn't find someone good looking in the real world that you could make it work with, you don't expect to find them on MAFS. Anyway, and then Nate and Lacey. Oh my god, I'm here. I was about to start a Nate Justice Defense League, and then Lacey stepped up, and I'm here for that. I was cheering. I was so excited. I was teary, but hey, it is what it is. Hey there. Thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button. Turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight UK, Season 9, Episode 12. Well, Eve and Charlie are gone, and a new couple is about to step in and fill in their shoes, obviously. Anyway, so you have all the married couples. You have Casper move back home, surprise, surprise. You have Adam want to take responsibility for the words that came out of his mouth. Surprise, surprise. I think he looked at it and realized it screwed the pooch, and he was worried about the backlash from the viewers. So this is why he's decided, oh, I want to try and give things a go. I want to see if I can improve on our intimacy. And it's like, make it make sense. With Casper and Emma, Casper says, he wants to try and build on their friendship. They're not going to worry about physical intimacy yet, but he wants to try and build on that. I think it's because his ego was bruised when he realized that she might not be attracted to him as much as he thought she was, because she said, she wouldn't welcome a kiss from him. So it's sort of taken him aback, like, oh, okay, I actually have to do some grafting here. You have Kieran and Christina and Nate and Lacey. They, with Ross and Sasha, receive a letter to say they are going to be hosting their spouses, family members. So there's a bit of anxiety, especially for Nate, given what happened at the wedding. He's worried about, his mother-in-law. And because he's very jokey and sort of doesn't take things seriously at times, Lacey's worried that he might say something that might offend her family. So she was trying to give him pointers on what not to say and what to say. She encouraged him to get some flowers so he can get into their good graces. But we saw a trailer of his mom crying, so I can't wait to see that mess. Anyway, they introduce a new couple, Amy, who's 27, and Luke, who's 30. This is not a good match. This is not a good match at all because of the words that came out of Lacey's mouth and had my antenna up when she said that she's worried about looks. Why are you worried about looks? Looks can change. You have Botox. Your lips don't look natural. So whoever you're going to be matched with could easily change their look. So that shouldn't be your worry. When you're going on Married at First Sight, it should be the person as a whole, the qualities, what makes them tick, what's good about them, what's bad about them, the qualities that you want in a partner. Not you want someone superficial, because they might be very shallow. Because she's a wedding planner, and her dad sadly has been diagnosed with cancer. So she's not sure whether he'll make it because he's currently waiting for surgery. And then she's matched, with a guy who is corny at his heart, I think. He's very corny because look, apparently he was a professional bodybuilder. He's one of the, he's won one of the highest honors, this Arnold Schwarzenegger trophy that was named after him. He's a woodworker, that's his hobby. He's a singer, he's a poet, he's everything else under the sun. I would assume he likes to cook. I think he said he's from Malaysia. I think that's where he was born, and that's he spent his early childhood years there. He works with children in a young offenders institute as a program lead. And so there are qualities about him that are amazing, but then his poetry can come across as corny, and it might give someone the ick, because already I was like, oh, that's a bit too much. And I don't know why the experts thought it was a good idea to match them, or maybe it's because they felt that because she's very superficial, let's give her a good looking guy and hopefully that will make her happy. But I think there's more to a relationship than that. I think they should have sort of change their requirements, because at the end of the day, looks fade, character doesn't. So maybe they might both want to look into that. Yes, he is more into someone who's compassionate, empathetic, and whatever, and understanding. But for her to say, looks are important, it's like, looks only last so long before they fade. Anything can happen. You can have an accident and those looks will go away. You could be injured. You could become ill. So a lot of things can happen that can affect your looks, but your character, it will take a lot for it to change. But that's just my opinion. I'm starting a Nathaniel Defense League. I'm starting a Nathaniel Defense League. For the love of Christ, give this man a break. He is trying his best. He is trying his best. He can only try. So you have him waiting for Lacey's mom and sister to come. And the moment they come, you can see he's immediately hyperstimulated, because he goes to open the door, goes to hug the mother, and the screaming and screeching from the mother and the sister. And then Lacey joining that group, poor man, and then them going into a group hug. He didn't know what to do. He was so hyperstimulated. And then to go from that to the mom suddenly saying, we're going to be cooking, we're making chicken fajitas. And he's like, I'm a vegetarian. Okay, can you cut the chicken? Seriously, he's told you he's a vegetarian. What more do you want? What more do you want? When he told her, I'm uncomfortable touching meat, I can do everything else, but I'm uncomfortable touching meat. She should be understanding. Because if the tables were turned and she were the vegetarian and he were to ask her to do the same, she'd be very upset and should be up in arms. And then so Lacey and the twin sister go away and leave them to do the cooking. The mother has to bring up the conversation about, your comments that you made about her twin sister at the wedding. Do you like Lacey? Do you see yourself with Lacey? And it's like, seriously, why are we bringing this up? These people have moved on from that. Obviously, your daughter has told you they've moved on. Are the producers the ones that are pushing for this topic then? What's happening? Make it make sense. And so he said, obviously she's a beautiful girl, but I've got a strong... Why did you say she's beautiful? What did you want him to say? If he said anything else, then you'd have said, so you're calling her ugly now. And it's like, make it make sense. And for her to say, do you see this working? What are your plans with my daughter? My daughter has put a lot on the line. And it's like, so has he. Nate, in my opinion, comes across as the more level-headed of the guys in the group at the moment. So for the mother to be so hypercritical doesn't make sense. You need to convince me, look me in the eye and tell me that you're going to stay with her, you have plans to make this work. He repeats what she says and then she goes, I think he's just telling me what he thinks I want to hear. What do you want him to do? Make it make sense. You said you wanted him to repeat what you're telling him. You're just repeating. Now you're complaining. He's told you he's not good with his words. I think he panics at times when he's in sort of high pressure situations. And this is why at times he sort of says things that don't make sense. And the mother should understand it, having had a child with ADHD. So I don't understand why she's so hypercritical, whether the producers have encouraged her to go and make him miserable by asking him so many questions. It doesn't make sense, because Lacey is happy with her husband. She's very comfortable. She was prepping him for when her mom came, meaning that she's happy. And the mom must know that her daughter's happy. So for her to continue to try and bring up old things doesn't make sense to me. So Amy and Luke are the couple that is getting married next. Obviously, they are entering to the experiment as the new couple. And how do I feel? Well, Amy's dad is able to make the ceremony, so he's able to attend. That way he can walk his daughter down the aisle. Amy's talking to her friend. She says, she hopes this is the first and the last, and she hopes he meets whatever she's asked for. On his part, Luke is talking to his mate as he's getting ready. He wants to make sure he looks amazing for his bride. And he says, because in Malta, sorry, I don't know where I said he came from before. He's Maltese, so he comes from Malta. He had the Malta crest on his lapel for his jacket. And he's saying, they don't have blonde women. And so blonde women are his type. And it's like, I don't get people that go off hair color. Hair color, you can change your hair color anytime. So the audacity or the idea that someone would only choose a partner who has a particular hair color doesn't make sense to me. It's very confusing. It's something that I'll never understand. And it's something that keeps coming up every time on dating shows. I like a blonde. Everyone can dye their hair blonde. Not everybody looks amazing in blonde. And that shouldn't be a characteristic trait that you look for in a spouse. There should be more to a spouse. You must want someone who's empathetic, caring, loving, compassionate, someone who's accommodating, someone who's patient, someone who's kind. There are a lot more things that you could want in a partner than a hair color and color of eyes, because that does not amount to anything. That's just my opinion. Anyway, Amy's friends are impressed as soon as they say look, because they say he reminds them of a movie actor, so she will like him. When she walks down the aisle, she likes him, she's attracted to him. He is happy. He says, she's shining a light on him, and he wanted someone who would take his breath away, which she seems to have done. But then the moment he starts speaking, then she's sort of saying, oh, I'm not sure. He comes across as a bit intense. And it's like, make it make sense. Are you focused on the look, or are you focused on the characteristic traits of someone? If you weren't so focused on the look, and if you hadn't asked for someone who was good looking, maybe you'd have got what you wanted. So make it make sense. Make it make sense. Let us not just ask for a couple of things that are unrealistic. This is not a corner shop. This is not a supermarket. You have to take what you've been given from your list. You cannot expect every single thing to be checked off. Oh, Kieran is in love. Anyway, so you have Kieran and Christina. I loved when they went shopping. They're very in their childlike state, in the sense that you had Christina in the trolley and, you had Kieran pushing her about. And so when his mom comes, it's totally different to the situation with Nate and Lacey, because this is more carefree. You had Christina. She was so excited to see his mom. She was excited to see her friend. I'm not sure why none of her family came, but hey, it is what it is. They then sat down to dinner. I wish Channel 4 was sponsored by a spice company, some sort of seasoning, because I didn't see any seasoning in the fajitas, and I didn't see any seasoning in whatever they were cooking, but hey, that's just me. So they sit down, they're having a conversation. And last time I remember, before the weddings, Kieran's mom used to say, Kieran, you need to censor yourself. You need to make sure, there are certain things you can say and certain things you can't say. And so for him to be blushing when he's asked about his marriage shows that he really likes Christina, and is really trying to make sure that he doesn't say or do anything that triggers her. Because, they're asked, how's it going? And Christina tells the mom that, I really care about him. And she becomes emotional because she says no one has ever said that about Kieran. And it's like, oh my God, what sort of people has Kieran been dating that have treated him so badly? Why? Anyway, they then go on to the topic of intimacy, and Kieran is embarrassed. He says, oh, we've done bits. And the mother and the friend are trying to find out, what bits are you talking about? And he wouldn't say because he was embarrassed. And so for me, I love this because it shows a lot of growth, in the sense that you would have expected him to behave like Richard from Married at First Sight Australia, whereby he spoke about everything, whereas he wouldn't say what they've done. They were asked, were you comfortable? They said yes, and he was blushing. So in the end, they just had to brush over the topic, which is good, because it shows that he's actually grown in this process. It shows that he's, coming into his own, whereby he knows what is appropriate to say and what is not appropriate to say, and that it's important for him to always make sure that he puts his wife's happiness and, security first, and trust. So that was cute to see. I really love that. And the family, you could see, were really happy that this marriage is going very great. And I wish Lacey's mom would take a page from this visit. So you have Lacey and her twin come back from wherever they'd gone to. Obviously, the fajitas are ready. They sit down for their meal. And Nate is just watching, he's not eating anything. And so the mother says, it's really bad that we're eating and you're not. And, it's uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. And he says, it's okay. I'll eat dust. I'm happy, I'm a happy bunny. And so the mother then, started criticizing him. And I think he got in his feelings and he made some off-color comments. And she was then upset because she started criticizing him, saying, he's very blasé about how he talks about you. He doesn't convince me that he's very serious about you. And it's like, well, why does he need to convince you? Why does he need to convince you? Why can't you just take him for what he says and see if he's going to live up to what he's telling you or not? And I like that Lacey immediately stepped in and told her mom that, the problem with him is, he struggles with his words, and at times he doesn't always pick the right things to say. That doesn't mean that he doesn't care. He has reassured me several times on our own, and I've been happy. So, you might need to get to know him a bit better, more or less. It was what she was saying, so that you can understand where he's coming from. Then, the mother then spoke about the food again, and it's like, why are we bringing this food up? Are we trying to trigger him? Are we trying to get him to say something that's off color? That way you can complain that, oh, he did this to me and he said that to me. Make it make sense. I don't get it. So then he said to them, you can take the food with you, because otherwise it's just going to go into the bin, more or less, because he's a vegetarian. They knew he was vegetarian before they brought their food. They continued to bring their food knowing that he's a vegetarian. So he's telling them what to do with their food. Now they're upset that, oh, you've offended my mom. How do you think your mom would feel if you said this, if Lacey said the same thing? Well, yeah, she might feel some type of way, but what do? We are at this point whereby it's already been said. He said what he said. We have to either choose to move on or just leave it as is. So you can either accept him for what he said, or you can criticize him. You opened the door by being disrespectful to him in the first place. Had you not been disrespectful, he would not have had the opportunity to be disrespectful to you. You started by disrespecting him. He's disrespected you. It is what it is. Let's keep it moving. There's more to life than this, and we can be better than this. So, what do you want to do? So he felt very uncomfortable. Lacey didn't know how to stop him. I don't know why she didn't kick him under the table. Anyway, he walked out and left the mum, and then the mum started crying. She was just being theatric. It was just for the drama. Oh, poor Nate. You can tell that, he's really sorry for what he did, because he apologizes, when he comes back, he apologizes again for what he said, and he tries to get in his mother-in-law's good books. She is still feeling some type of way because she's been offended, but she says she doesn't take it, she won't take it to heart. And it's like, you have a child with ADHD. Your daughter must do some certain things that you know of. You shouldn't be so harsh on him like that. He's someone who panics. You've already been told that he struggles in certain situations, and you could see he felt really bad. And so the moms eventually said, she won't take it personally, and she'll move on. So once she's left, Nate is apologizing profusely to Lacey to sort of say, I didn't mean to hurt her feelings. That was never my intention. And I like the fact that Lacey didn't take it seriously, because she could have said, oh, you offended my mom, now I'm offended, blah, blah, blah. But she kept reassuring him that it's okay, we just need to do some more work, we need to do some more stuff to help you sort of grow and improve. And I like that she was defending him, and she was saying, I've never had anyone treat me as good as he does, and this, that, and the other. So her mother and her sister left at peace, although her mother was joking in the end, because initially she said she doesn't do banter, but when she picked up her Tesco bouquet of flowers, she was trying to bang him on top of the head with them. And it's like, well, that's banter. It's nothing serious. You don't need to take it as seriously as that. Anyway, and then with the wedding, what do I think? I think they're the most, I think it's lost in translation. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to really say. That it's lost in translation, in the sense that Luke is very gentleman-like. He believes in carrying himself a certain way. He likes to flatter his bride. He likes to say some of the most provocative stuff. And for her, she doesn't understand it. So she's finding it very cringe, Amy. She even said so, because she was saying, oh, I don't know, I'm getting the ick. And it's like, it's too early to get the ick. Maybe try and understand why he feels the need to compliment. Maybe in his culture, since he says he's Maltese, he's not British. Maybe he's later, become a British citizen, but he's not British by birth. British people have a way of carrying themselves. They don't really do certain things. So what might be offensive to them, to the Maltese, might just be, any other day. So I hope she gives him a chance. Yeah, he did go around and introduce himself to the mother, and the mother was saying, oh, my daughter is the one who's going to have to deal with him. So, it's up to her. And it's like, he's not that bad, really. He's not that bad. Why are we making it seem as though he's the worst person ever? He's trying his best. He's trying to impress you. He's trying to impress his bride. It could be worse. He could have done an Adam and said, I'm not attracted to her. I don't fancy her. So I don't get why. I think as time went by, because you had Amy sit down with her bridesmaids, and they were trying to encourage her to allow him room and just give him an opportunity to prove himself before she sort of writes him off, because this might be the person that she needs. And so I think the reassurance from her bridesmaids, it's what is sort of going to help her sort of move on and navigate from there. I think if she can understand that he means no harm. Yes, she found out that he did butler in the buff, which is not always the best thing. And so hopefully she thinks, it is what it is. He's somebody who's done certain things. It doesn't mean any harm. He does it because he needs a living, and they can move on because that might be second or third job anyway. So I can't wait to see what happens on their honeymoon and see if they are able to navigate from that. And the new bride, well, Adam is going to have his tongue on the floor when he sees her, because that is his type. She is brunette and she is banging, so I can't wait to see how he reacts, because obviously he can't go after Lacey because I don't think Nate will allow him. I think Nate will suddenly find the words that he struggles to find if he were to try and make any attempts towards Lacey. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 11. Bye guys.